Hello, everybody, and welcome back to your Monday Pick and Roll live stream. Getting the week started, hopefully, on the right foot today with 3 free picks coming at you, guys. 2 of which coming from the Minnesota Timberwolves game against the Denver Nuggets. 1 of which will be involving the other game that we have today between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks. BetMGM for the first 2, DraftKings for the third one. On the way very shortly. But before we go any further, reminder, this is the Board YouTube channel, part of the Hammer Betting Network, and we're here for NBA playoff content all the way through the playoffs, and we'll have even more content coming at you in the offseason as well. So please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Keep up to date with everything that we have coming your way. And also, if you enjoyed this one along the way, make sure you do hit that like button. But how the show works, we'll go through the 3 free picks up front. Then we'll hear Pips' handicap on all 3 of those picks. We'll recap the previous show's picks. We'll go through some trending NBA topics. Today we'll be talking a little bit about the Lakers and their head coaching search before wrapping everything up and then hopefully getting some winners tonight. So let's get started with the picks that we have today. As I said, the first 2 are going to be available at BetMGM. The third one is going to be available at DraftKings Sportsbook. But as always, make sure you line shop for your region to ensure you are getting the best possible price. You can use the BetStamp app to do so. Of course, as I always say, and for the show, we take the widely available options, BetMGM, DraftKings, as much as we can. Others like FanDuel Seas as well, just to ensure the highest amount of people watching this show are getting the same price. So as I get my final check-in to make sure we have the correct numbers that we're giving out, let's get started here. So the first play is in the Wolves and Nuggets game. The first 2 plays will be for this game as well. This is a -110 SGP available at BetMGM. It's going to be Nikola Jokic, under 10.5 assists and 25-plus points, similar to what we had in Game 1. That, unfortunately, was not a winner, but definitely was on pace to have success over there. So hopefully we get that winner for this one. Second play is, as I said, same game. As I said, same book, -115 at BetMGM. This one's going to be Michael Porter Jr. under 20.5 points, and the Minnesota Timberwolves on the alternate spread at +14.5. ESPN Bet does not have the alternate lines available for this game as of yet, but check a little bit later on in the day because you might be able to get a better price over there. The third play, as I said, is in the Pacers and Knicks game. It's going to be a -130 SGP at DraftKings. Jalen Brunson, 30-plus points and under 10.5 assists. So in line with a lot of similar bets from the regular season against the Indiana Pacers. We'll get the handicap on that a little bit later on. But Pips, let's go to that first play here. Nikola Jokic, you have his under on assists and over on points. What are you thinking for this one?
Just running the back, what we had the last time without rebounds. We lost the last time on rebounds, which wasn't expected at all.
Yeah.
But watching that game, the only thing Jokic worried about after a miss from the Wolves is how to box out Gobert. Like, he was just trying to box out Gobert and didn't care. Like, he wasn't trying to get rebounds at all. Didn't expect this, didn't happen throughout the season, but he was just bumping 2 hands on the chest of Gobert, just holding him off offensive rebounds. It worked well for Denver Nuggets, as I think Wolves in the entire game had 2 or 3 offensive rebounds. For a team of that size, that's actually insane. So that worked for the Denver Nuggets. So I think they're running it back. So I'm staying away of the rebounds. Obviously, points and assists were easy as it gets. Like, I mean, not as easy as it gets. He had 9 assists, but 9 assists on 12 potential assists, which is, yeah, they made almost every shot he passed out. And some of these shots were tough threes, especially for Michael Porter Jr. So yeah, I'm running this back. I think Jokic scores and creation is limited as it was every time that he played against the Wolves. So this one like make Jokic a scorer. Also, Jokic, I will say, like, when you look at the scoring numbers, like his last game, he scored 32 points. So you will think like, okay, that's a great game for Jokic, but he shot 11 from 25. I think they are more than happy with it. Like, if you have Jokic shooting 25 times and scoring 32 points, that's very good. And I think they won't. They'll stick to the same. So yeah, that's how I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jokic mentioned after the game how it's difficult to play against the gauntlet of centers that they have there. They can just they always have a big and a talented one to throw on him, whether it's Gobert, whether it's Cat, whether it's Naz Reid.
Two bigs are always on the floor
Yeah,
every time of the game. Like always two, and one is defending him, one is helping sometimes. Yeah, it's
it's
difficult.
tough, but he's
Yeah,
still gonna score. He's still gonna score. We're hoping for that 25 plus for that one today. Let's move to the second play here. This one is Michael Porter Jr. under 20.5 points, and the alternate spread for the Wolves at plus 14.5. What are the Wolves throwing at Michael Porter Jr. for you to take this play?
I was hella surprised. I mean, not hella surprised. It makes a lot of sense, but I was a bit surprised in the game one. They put Anthony Edwards on Jamal Murray and Jaden McDaniels on Michael Porter Jr. Yeah, like if you have one guy in the league to defend Michael Porter Jr., like if you need to pick the best guy in the world to defend Michael Porter Jr., it's Jaden McDaniels. Like he has the size and the wingspan to contest his threes. He is great at screen navigation. He can just run with. So yeah, he had Michael Porter Jr. last game. He had 20 points. He's shot 4 for 7 on threes. Not a, I think only one three out of the seven was a spot up three. All other six were some kind of pull up threes for him off the dribble. That's not. I mean, he's good at doing it, but if he's mostly scoring via spot up. He shot 4 from 7. He had season high 6 free throws, and he still ended up at 20 points. I kind of expect some regression there. Like I don't see he's shooting 4 for 7 against Jaden McDaniels, and I don't see he's getting 6 free throws. So yeah, I just expect him to be in a range like 15 to 17 points in this one, and I'm adding the spread because I think every game of this series will be a single digit spread at the end. Like watching first game, I saw a lot of good stuff from the Wolves, and I don't think they are losing by double digits in any game of this series. Like this will be like probably 6, 7 game series, and with every game being close. That's how, especially Denver does. I don't see much room for improvement from Denver. Obviously, Wolves run hot, shot well, and there will be some regression with Anthony Edwards and Towns, Naz Reid, like those guys, Conley as well. Like they shut their lights out. So I'm like more expecting some regression on Wolves than they're playing somehow way better on offense. Like Mike Porter Jr. had a great game. Jamal Murray doesn't look like he will have great games. So yeah, I think this will be like every game will be close in this series.
Yeah, absolutely. Game one kind of showcased that we could be in for a long series and hopefully an entertaining series at that. Let's go to we have game one in another series here. We have the Indiana Pacers against the New York Knicks. You're going to play Jalen Brunson, 30 plus points and under 10.5 assists. Indiana Pacers defense, are they just keeping the status quo on what they did in the regular season, keeping the defense the same?
It's kind of a gamble, I would say, but they did it against Damian Lillard game one. Later, they adjusted. Maybe if Brunson kills them game one, then they adjust in game two. But last two games of the regular season, both in February, they ran single coverage against Jalen Brunson. In those two games, Jalen Brunson scored 40 and 39 points. And on the assist part, he had 1 and 4 assists. So he had 40 points with 1 assist as a main ball handler, and then had 39 points with 4 assists. That's kind of how I expect it to be in the game one. Maybe they later adjust if they see that he's just crushing them and that's not sustainable. But throughout the season, they are the number one spot up defense. And if you look at the roster of the Knicks, Dante DiVincenzo, spot up shooter. OG Anunoby, spot up shooter. McBride, spot up shooter. Like they have a lot of guys that can't do much on their own, and they can spot up shoot. So I don't know, like what should be approach, but I don't think sending doubles to Brunson is a good approach in this because everyone else can just put up shoot and do it well. So I think they will start with single coverage on the other Brunson, which makes sense, especially when they have Nemhard, DJ McConnell, and good defensive guys on point of attack. So I think that's the plan, and I don't see Brunson covering the assist line. Like even if they double him, I think 11 is way too. And if you take a look at the Lillard in the series, like throughout the regular season without Giannis, Lillard's number of assists were much higher than Brunson number of assists, and Lillard averaged 5 assists in an entire series against the Pacers. Even though they sent doubles at him game 3 and game 4, he had 8 and 4 assists in those games while scoring in a bunch. And yeah, that's how I see it in this game. Like, even if they decide like at halftime change and send doubles, the guys that are getting assist is hockey assist off of double. Like he'll pass out wide open, they will run him off the three, and then he'll third or fourth guy will shoot. So yeah, I like this. But I'm even taking this juice. Maybe later on it opens up on ESPN alternative lines for this one to get some better number. But I like this one even though like bit high juice, but I'm going to take it.
Yeah, and on the Pacers, like there's good defenders there. Andrew Nemhard is turning into a really good perimeter defender. They probably don't have to throw everything in the kitchen sink at Brunson like the 76ers and other teams have done. And I mean, even if Brunson's scoring like crazy here, they're probably not going to be giving up a lot of threes, and the Pacers going to try to win the math game a little bit here. So yeah, completely see where you're going with this play here. So that'll do it for the 3 picks today. We'll recap them at the end of the show as well in case you missed them, in case anybody joins in a little bit late here. Quick shout out to people joining us today. Thank you, Alan Churn, Burn2K, RW Fan 23, Sean Glenn, Anthony Serbo. Thank you guys for joining in, coming through and hanging out with us today. Question here from Sean Glenn coming in. If you don't have access to bet either Jokic or Brunson plays, any recommended pivots? Going to 9.5 assists feels with either feels risky. Would you change the bet in any way if you wanted to go with 9.5 assists?
Let me just check something.
For sure.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. I'm looking at the numbers and points. So if you can get, yeah, it's tough because Brunson opened up at 33, now 34. Jokic opened 28, now 29. So I will not play them straight. If you're getting great, try to find like plus money on those numbers. Try to get like plus 120, about 115 with under 9.5 assists. That should work.
All right, let's shift to the recap of the previous show's plays, and it's another split day, unfortunately. This one is just going to be completely even here. We get 1 unit winner on Jamal Murray, and we get 1 unit loser on Nikola Jokic for that SGP that we mentioned earlier. I believe that is 6 straight split days. However, the show before the previous one was a big winning day because it was 2 big SGPs that split, so we'll take the big profit there. But yeah, 1-1 here. Jokic just doesn't get over on the rebounds. I think he finished with 8. Jamal Murray under 24.5 points, was never really a sweat there. Finishes with 17 points. You already talked about Nikola Jokic not getting his rebound. You talked about why that didn't happen for us. But for Jamal Murray here, was it the injury? Was it the Timberwolves defense? Maybe a combination of both for this one?
Yeah, a combination of both. He had 0 points at the halftime. Like, missed. I mean, if you look at his shots, like every single shot he took was insane difficult shot. Like even like scoring 17 points, I will say is above average when you look at the shot quality he get. Like it was when Michael Porter Jr. was off, it was Jaden McDaniels on him. When game started, it was Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards played unbelievable defense. Like he played like offensively one of the best games we ever seen in the playoffs. For sure, like insane stuff. But he was almost as good on defense. Like he was locking the shit out of Jamal Murray, especially when there were no screens and he tried to isolate against Edwards. Like no space at all. So yeah, that was the very helpful stuff from him. But it's not help. He's not helped. He's not 100%. And we saw it in the Lakers series. He made the shot in the fourth, yeah, but if you exclude like last 3 minutes of the games, he shot like 35% for the series. Good defense. Like Gobert is all over the place, all over the place. Like one of the best defensive games we've seen from the Gobert, and there were so many, but one of the best defensive games in the playoffs. He did so like the best thing for everyone about that was the game. He baited two lobs from Jokic to Gordon and then intercepted both. Like that was like insane stuff. But they rotate well, and Gobert is always like when he's not on Jokic, when they put Towns or Reed, and then play pick and roll with Jamal Murray and Jokic, and then Jamal Murray gets open drive and then Jokic and Gobert just comes in for a help, and like it's contested layup. It's difficult for Jamal Murray to score. Like he can cover this line and score if he is just killing from the mid range and pull up threes. And Wolves are more than happy to take those shots against Nickel Alexander Walker, Jalen McDaniels, and Anthony. So yeah, coming into the series, we know it's tough for Jamal Murray.
Yeah. So since we're talking about the Timberwolves Nuggets right now, wanted to do a bit of a preview here for Game 2. What sort of adjustments do you think the Nuggets need to make in order to get control back or some control back in this series? Because losing both games at home when the home court is so advantageous like it is to the Denver Nuggets would be a complete disaster. It's pretty close to a must-win for Denver.
Christian Brown needs to play more to defend Anthony Edwards. KCP just too small. Like KCP is a good defensive player, but Edwards bullied him the entire game. That's on that side of the court. Maybe a bit more aggressive on Edwards. Like if Gobert hits some on the roll, you live with it. If he gets a couple of offensive rebounds, you live with it, but you need to take away from the Anthony Edwards. On the defensive side of the floor, I don't even know. Like Gordon is such a huge problem for them because they're like he clogged the paint if he's in dunker spot. Gobert just stays on Aaron Gordon, and he's so good that he can help on Jokic, but also not allow lobs to Aaron Gordon. Like he's the best in the middle of those and making decisions. So Aaron Gordon, if either he moves out or they run some sets that don't allow Gobert to be so close to help. That's the part. Jamal Murray needs to be more aggressive. Like, yeah, he needs to be more aggressive. And honestly, don't know. Well, it's tough for the Nuggets.
Sometimes like you can lose like these are two really good teams. Sometimes you can play well and just end up losing, and this is a case here where maybe the Denver Nuggets did fine. It's just the Timberwolves played so well. Anthony Edwards was so good in this game on both ends of the floor that Minnesota get the win. So may not require a complete change in approach here for the Nuggets, but this is certainly a game in which they are gonna very likely have to win if they want to get through in this series. Because
I would say,
you can't lose both at home.
I would say like Nuggets can win this series only if we saw the best ever of Jokic. Like Jokic is great, amazing player, best player in the league. But game 1, for his standards, was not good enough. Like we are like he's the best player on the floor, but he needs to be even better. Like he shot too many threes, settled for too many shots, had 7 turnovers. Like I know, like it's tough to ask for a best player on the floor to be even better. But if they want to win, Jokic needs to be like one of the all-time greats playoff series. That's what it takes to win against this Wolves, because their defense is insane. They are not like if you make any mistakes, you'll get punished. And it looked very tough for the Nuggets. Like if you rewatch the game, like they played well, but if Jokic had a couple of less turnovers and made some buckets, then they win. So yeah, as I said, expect some shooting regression from the Wolves, but Wolves will be great. Like they will be there for the series.
Let's shift over to actually some questions from the chat here. Anthony asked about the Knicks on the spread today. Is just curious on the 5.5 here that the Knicks are for today. feels as though this is a bit disrespectful. I don't know, actually, to be honest, I'm not sure which way this is, but actually, Anthony clarifies here. He believes that this is disrespectful towards the New York Knicks and that 5.5 is not enough for the Knicks in this matchup here. Pips, any thoughts overall, any lean here as far as the side is concerned for the Pacers and Knicks for game one tonight?
I already said this could be a series, a long series. I think Pacers can win. But game one, I think Knicks run them off the floor. Why? Because the Pacers will just game one, game series against Bucks is not a playoff intensity. Like the Bucks were soft. They are for a rude awakening when they get to the Madison Square Garden and when they face the Knicks defense. They'll be like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, especially those young guys that never been there. Like
Yeah,
Knicks
I was
defense
thinking the
compared to
same
the
thing.
Bucks defense and Knicks physicality compared to the Bucks physicality will be like, what's going on? Like you'll see guys like Nemhard, like Halliburton, like Nesmith, like these young guys will be like, what's going on? Like what's this? Like they went to the first ever playoff game and they played Bucks without Giannis. That's the softest of any teams in the playoffs you can get. So and they were poor in the game one. Like they
Yeah,
were
I was
they
about
were
to
like
say they were
yeah
shell shocked game one. They
yeah.
were not ready for the
And
playoffs.
they are in a rough spot tonight when they face this kind of defense.
Now
So yeah,
MSG.
first game I lean over I lean I lean Knicks covering this in the game one.
What's interesting is that this one opened at 6.5. Very briefly was at 6.5, but has been played down to 6, and then now at 5.5. Since then, it started to creep its way back up on the juice towards going back to 6, but it seems pretty locked in right now at a 5.5 spread in favor of the New York Knicks. If it goes anywhere, we'll go to 6. But yeah, I agree. For a team like the Pacers, who came into game one against the Milwaukee Bucks, did not look like they were essentially ready for the atmosphere. Maybe the lights were a little bit brighter than expected. It'll be tough. I think the Pacers are good enough to win this series. I don't think they will. I think the Knicks, they are favored, and rightfully so. Game one will probably be the most difficult one of the series for the Pacers while they attempt to get settled
Yeah,
into this series, though. I agree. I'm not sure I'm going to play the five and a
completely
half,
agree.
but I would lean in that direction absolutely here. Want to go
And
to yesterday's game? Sorry, want to add one more
I
thing?
just want to say I saw people saying like in the regular season the Pacers won, and I'll just say they won last game Pacers played against the Knicks. Knicks started Taj Gibson at the 5, so don't even look at it. Like ignore it completely.
Can't really, yeah. Can't if Taj Gibson's starting, maybe can't look at that one and
Yeah.
say it's going to convey to this game. Let's go to the yesterday's game 7 between the Magic and Cavaliers. Not the best basketball, but an interesting game nonetheless. The Orlando Magic get out to an early double-digit lead. I think the lead got to 18, almost 20 points at one point. Looked as though they were going to have a comfy ride all the way to winning this game, but then the Cleveland Cavaliers roar back. Donovan Mitchell, after a pretty nothing sort of performance in the first half, ends up having a tremendous second half, and the Cavaliers come back and win this one 106-94. Like I said, big game from Donovan Mitchell. It was inefficient first half, which will skew this a little bit, but he was 11 of 27 with 39 points. When they needed points, they got it. And a big injection from Karis LeVert off the bench in 15 points, and a nice third quarter performance from Max Strus, who ends with 13 points, ends up giving the Cavs to win despite the 38-point night from Banchero. Pips, Cleveland, any chance for the Cavaliers to come into Boston and get through and get to the conference finals?
If Jared Allen is back and healthy and Porzingis is not playing, the series is open. How much? Can't really tell, but I'm saying uh, even if you look at the games against the Magic, the biggest problem for the Cavs is their coaching is not great. So many terrible coaching decisions made by JB Bickerstaff. I, I, I'm saying this for years. Like they got talented team, and they just kept the bigger stuff on the bench because they won games. They
They're
didn't
doing
win games because of the
just enough to
yeah
keep him around.
yeah they didn't win games because of the bigger stuff. They won games because of the talent they have. But that's nothing to do with bigger stuff. I'll say. I'll say if they had some other coach on the bench, I would say this Cavs team could make a big win, like surprising win against the Celtics. With him out there, I doubt it. So yeah, that's it. Like you play game seven, fucking game seven, and you play 10 deep, and you play guys like my I don't even know.
Well,
Like
it wasn't much as if like they did play 10 guys, not heavy minutes, but at one point in the second quarter, an entire bench unit was on the floor. So Niang, Morris, Thompson, Levert, and Merrill were on the floor together. And I saw this lineup and knew immediately it was going to get absolutely torched.
Look at Niang, like three
Niang
minutes
played
minus
3
nine.
minutes minus 9, exactly. Like you who's gonna play defense on this lineup? Like what was he thinking with this?
Yeah, he's stupid. Like I'll say, like I hate like my one of my friends is huge Cavaliers fan, so I always discuss with him stuff, and I watch games with him. So I watch a ton of Cavaliers, and I was saying to him like, this guy is insane. His rotations are terrible. His decision making are terrible. And what the fuck were they trying to accomplish in that? Like they play terrible offense. It's only because like Mitchell was like on another level, game 6 and 7 that they won. Like I don't even know. Like
Yeah. Like you're
I
getting
don't know
nothing.
what
You're not getting much of a Garland. Mobley, man, there's got to be a serious inquisition into Evan Mobley, and he's extension eligible this summer. There has to be a serious conversation about Evan Mobley and where he trends long term. Honestly, like Game
I
6 was
mean,
bad. This one, you want a bit more out of him.
I'll say we know exactly what Evan Mobley is. And like he is a great defensive player. He can play great defense as 5. He can play great defense as 4. He can shoot. He can self create. He is run and dunk on offense. That's it.
Yeah.
You need to be like that's it. That's who he is. And from maybe a couple more seasons, that's who will he. That's who will he be. Like Jared Allen is a better offensive player than Evan Mobley by far. By far. On defensive side of the floor, Mobley has maybe a bit more like versatility, can play 4 and 5. So yeah, they need to decide. Like, do they go with Evan Mobley or are they go? Jared Allen for a big. He's still young.
Yeah.
He's 26. You can get like 70 more years of Jared Allen being great. So it's not like you are trying to decide between. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jared Allen.
The thing for Evan Mobley is going to be he's extension eligible this summer. He's going to want a rookie max. You have 2 more years of Jared Allen on $20 million. I think if you're trying to complement Donovan Mitchell, trying to keep him around, you got to worry about.
I don't think there is
roster
a
out.
chance. They don't think there is a chance Mitchell stays there.
Oh, you think he's gone? So in which case, then keeping Mobley is the right move. Cleveland should try to delay Mobley's contract a year, I think, to get a better feel for him.
I mean, Mobley's a great player, like in his role. Like he's a great defensive player. He can do some stuff on offense. You just need to better coaching to get him to his spots. And JP Bickerstaff is not that kind of coach to put Mobley in great spots on offense.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll ask for close to the max. It's going to be complicated for the Cavs over the next few years to navigate everything going on.
Not a good thing that Garland is like declining heavily last 2 seasons as well.
Yeah, and
I was huge on Garland.
He was
like 2 years ago.
In Game 7. Man, he was almost useless in Game 7. Honestly,
he's playing poor like for 2 years. Like it's not like
yeah.
he's playing. I mean, the thing is, as someone who watches the Scout game, that guy is not playing. I will say over the last 2 years, I don't think we had like a month of stretch where Garland was 100% healthy. Like
Yeah.
he has some serious back issues and always some kind of injury. So yeah, there is that. There is that. But huge decline over the last 2 seasons for Darius
Well,
Garland.
he'll
But
he'll have a
he's still
summer to get
24. So
he'll have a summer to get healthy, and he's gonna have to put up next season. I think to improve that.
mm,
It wasn't the one-off All
maybe
Star year.
yeah, maybe some words on the Orlando Magic. I would just say the team is great. They have a bunch of great young players. Suggs, Banchero, Franz Wagner, Isaac is there as well. They need point guard, a real point guard that can create better shots for these guys. And the future is bright for Orlando, and
Yeah.
they just need a big time creator to help. Like, but when Vaquero is attacking off the ball, he's unstoppable. When he needs to create his own shots and attack against the set defense, that's difficult stuff. Same for Franz Wagner because he can shoot. Same for Suggs, who's an insane spot up shooter, but when he's pulling up, that's terrible. So yeah, they are one big time shot creator away from being a great team.
By the way, Franz 1 of 15 in Game 7. Not one he's going to want to remember. Suggs also 2 of 13 in this one. Banchero, I'll wait a little bit on Banchero. I completely agree with what you said about him. He's 21. A lot of times players figure out their efficiency and how to get the most efficient shots more consistently as they get older. So if Banchero is already like good enough to be just like he's huge. I think his size goes a little bit
Yeah,
under the radar at times. To move
he's,
like that,
he's huge, man.
he can get to the rim a lot more often than he does and settle for shots a lot less. And when he starts doing that, there's a much higher ceiling for the player.
I was just waiting for you to just be done just to say like he's huge. Like
Yeah.
that's insane how big he is, and just bring him some shot creator that he can attack off the dribble and attack the gaps, get gaps, and then they open, and you'll see his shooting, his efficiency will skyrocket.
Yeah.
And I would say he did even throughout the series. You can see game one, game two, game three. Like even throughout the series, he improved. He improved.
Yep.
Like he figured out stuff throughout the series. Like I would say he got like 15% better just in this series, and that's where the experience comes through. Like game one and two, he was settling a ton. Then game 3 to 6, he was attacking a lot. Yeah, and also he played first series against Cleveland Cavaliers defense. They
Yeah.
are a great defensive team. It's not like he played Bucks or someone like they
Yeah.
played Cleveland Cavaliers, and he was good enough. So yeah, this team is
Overall,
good.
great learning curve, great season of learning for the Magic and the playoffs as well. Great, as much as they lost, they can take a lot away from this series to improve for next year.
I would say I just want to comment something. I know people are saying a lot about this because it's Franz Wagner shooting. It's very tough for a second year player to play entire season and then play World Cup, getting no rest, and then playing entire season plus playoffs. We'll see his shooting next season when he gets proper rest and he comes back in the season already. I don't know. I don't think fans understand how difficult it is to play the entire NBA season, then play the World Cup in the summer, and then come back and play the entire NBA season. That's so fucking tough for the body and for especially for young players that are just coming up, setting up. So yeah, I know that stuff for like some of our players like from Croatia and Serbia and stuff, and they play entire season and they play entire summer and they come back. They always have a decline, and you'll see Franz Wagner next season.
Okay, so maybe jury still. I will say to rebuttal that players like Banchero also played the World Cup. Maybe not as significant of a role, but I guess these are different levels of players. But like Shea was massive at the World Cup, played an entire season of heavy minutes. But I believe there's a lot of talent for Wagner. The comment here saying that Franz may be exposed as a more one-dimensional scorer, especially against good paint defenses. I'm not prepared to say, like, look, bad games happen. It just so happened this one was in a game 7. I'm not prepared to say Franz can't have a really good, very successful career.
I mean, it's some like we need to be like realistic sometimes. Like France is a great player. Like he struggled.
Yeah,
He struggled against great playing defense, and he's not a shooter. So nothing unexpected there. I will say
it's true.
he just need to improve, and he's young. He can improve, and that's it. Like
But again,
young
the
players.
series of learning for this Magic team, they're going to
He's
take a lot from
22.
this.
He's 22, and he looked lost out there with confidence on confidence side. Like confidence was the problem. He looked like terrified to go inside, and that will come. He needs to
Yes.
learn from his brother. Like his brother is playing like he's Hakeem himself. Like
Yes. His brother was
confidence
great.
wise.
All right, we've gone long, but I did want to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and their head coaching search before we did go. Have some odds regarding the next Los Angeles Lakers head coach. On the Friday show, me and Kirk Evans talked about how, firing Darvin Ham might be a little bit harsh, but the easiest thing to do for a team is replace their coach. Here are the potential candidates to replace him there. Mike Budenholzer leads the betting odds in terms of the probabilities at plus 320, but Kenny Atkinson features here, as does Ty Lue, and as does LeBron's co-host on the Mind the Game podcast, JJ Redick. Pips, any thoughts early stages here on the Lakers and who should be their next head coach? Who do you think is a good fit for them for next season and hope for them the long-term future?
I would say the best coach for them would be Mike Budenholzer. He's the best coach out there. Ty Lue, I always speak highly of him, but this series against Dallas, he did some questionable stuff. I would say at least, I mean, he was down, best player and stuff, but playing so much Mason Plumlee and Westbrook and Mason Plumlee together, and then his go-to move for elimination game is PJ Tucker and yeah, questionable stuff. But Tyler Lue will do probably great with LeBron if he's staying, as we saw earlier. And Mike needs to get the job in the NBA. Like he has some flaws. He's like has some like strict stuff. Like he has his defensive scheme and he's not adjusting much. That's my issue with Mike. But other than that, he did a great job. And maybe some structure will help with the Lakers for the next season. I don't think JJ Redick is getting the job. That makes no sense at all. Like I love JJ Redick. He's my favorite NBA. Like I don't know how to even say like NBA broadcaster
Mind.
or what.
Or
Mine,
analyst.
yeah, analyst, yeah, and the guy on the shows and his breakdowns are great and he's great basketball mind. But this is a huge step. Like you can like he is a great friend with LeBron and they are like brothers and now he's your coach. That's no
Yeah.
go.
I think JJ needs some NBA bench experience before he takes on a head coaching role.
Yeah. I
It's
would
one thing
actually
to
I
go
would
ahead.
actually love if he gets Hornets job. Like that's a
Yes,
good
I was gonna
starting
say it's
point.
one thing if you want to throw him in on like an easier job, we'll call it. Look, the Lakers' job is a tough job. So even last year, JJ was linked to the Raptors head coaching job, and I was saying like, look, it's one thing to know the game; it's another thing to be able to manage these guys on a day-to-day basis. And I feel like just getting that extra experience in, like we've seen Steve Nash thrown in as an NBA head coach. Not saying like these are the same situations, but it's tough. It's not always easy to just get thrown in and
I mean, going from coaching 9 years kids
yeah
to
to
like grown up
NBA.
men.
In LA, the Lakers, no
Yeah.
less.
I also think he is a great stuff at doing an analysis, and he should start as an assistant coach.
Yes,
That's how he should
that's what I'm
start.
saying.
Yeah, with some great coach, like in a great team, and then like get a learning curve, and then be. I think he should be. I really think JJ Redick would be a great coach
Yeah,
in 5 years
it
if he
just
starts. Yeah,
if he wants to put in like the work to become one, this is the thing. Look, he's very successful at ESPN, and he's just getting started here. He's got his own
yeah,
brand. He's got the podcast with LeBron. I mean, JJ, does he need to ruin this situation by trying to become a coach? Because it seems like, just being an analyst, it's what's going to make him successful beyond his playing days. So
Imagine this scenario. He starts an NBA coaching job, he fails, and now when he goes to the shows, they say, "You had your job. What the fuck are you talking about?" You know how it goes. Like
yeah,
you were trash as a coach. You don't have a saying anymore, and then he ruined his reputation. It's a big risk for him to take a
yeah,
coaching job now.
I agree.
He gets good
He's
money.
making
I
great
don't think,
money, I imagine, at
yeah,
ESPN.
I don't think coaching salary will be like much higher than his current situation. So
Yeah. So
it's
I don't know why he would. I don't know what his desires are, but if I'm him, I probably think I'm in ideal spot right now with only an upward trajectory on my analyst career. So for me, I would avoid a Lakers job no less. But I don't know what his aspirations are.
an interesting question. That we see like NBA players having podcasts and doing stuff. Do you think it's possible to be an NBA coach and keep doing that stuff?
No, no.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you
You
think
gotta
assistant coach?
you gotta keep that to yourself first of all. Any knowledge you have on the game, and plus you gotta spend way more time preparing for an opponent on a day-to-day
Yeah.
basis. Like you just can't do both.
But do you think he can do it as an assistant coach? Probably.
Even then, it's still tough because I don't know if I'm
He
a
can
head
do mind the
coach
game. He
and
can do
he's my
mind the game.
assistant.
I don't think he can do mind the game. That's
Yeah, but if I'm a head coach and he's my assistant, I would probably rather, you know, his
he
time
doesn't have
be.
a saying. He is a huge NBA he has huge reputation and like he's a huge guy for the even like the league loves it. He brings so much attention to the league now.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, the
he's
league would
a
love it if he became a
huge
coach, but
AV huge AV plus guy for the league and from the silver and for everyone.
agreed.
So yeah, so I think they could maybe be some room for like negotiation on that stuff with JJ Redick.
That's true. The NBA would find a way potentially,
Yeah.
but again, it all depends on JJ's aspirations to be a coach. So we'll see. I do agree on the topic, though. Mike Budenholzer would be a solid choice by the Lakers. But I think that should do it for today. It's a long show today, but there was a lot to talk about. We had the whole weekend of action to discuss. So wanted to get a big episode out to discuss all these things. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We'll keep you updated on Twitter at The Board HQ about future shows that are going out. A little bit less games now, so just keep it locked over there. Maybe even have the notification bell on the channel and on Twitter so you know when content's coming out. I'll be sure to update you guys when I know if there is a show to be coming out. But for today, that'll do it. Let's wrap up the picks that we did have on the show from Pips. Wolves at Nuggets for the first two plays. First two plays also at BetMGM. Minus 110 SGP has Jokic under 10.5 assists and 25 plus points. Second play, minus 115 odds for Michael Porter Jr. under 20.5 points, and the Timberwolves alt spread at plus 14.5. The final play is at DraftKings. It's in the Pacers and Knicks game, minus 130 odds for Jalen Brunson under 30 plus points and under 10.5 assists. I'm just going to quickly check if this is up yet on ESPN Bet to see if we have a better price over there. Alt line's still not available, so check a little bit later on in the day. And always make sure you're line shopping with the odds comparison tool like the BetStamp app to make sure you're getting the best price on all of your wagers. Sign up and see what's in your region with the link pinned in chat or the link that is in the description. That'll wrap it up from me and Pips. We hope to see you again very soon here on the Board YouTube channel with the Pick and Roll live stream.